All right, so if you're watching this video, you probably know that the Netflix released Jira recently, and you had mixed responses to it. I'm actually doing this video in response to one person's response to it. One person that I watch on the regular is Jeremy from the Quartering, who had a not so good take on it. Um, and his take on it was I think he even said that he didn't watch the show at all. He basically just was just reading what other people's comments were. So, being the untrusting fuck that I am, I decided to binge watch the entire show on my own, and judge it for myself. And I heard a lot of, um, oh, it's LGBT pride and this, that, and the other thing. It's so woke, and I didn't really see any of that in the show. As the show just seemed like a normal show for girls. Um, it's there was a lot of things in it that were very true to the original. Um, all the characters, at least. Um, as far as like names and everything are concerned, and all the very important stuff. And it seemed like a very good reimagining of the original show. Um, Now, of course, I had concerns, legitimate concerns when I had heard that people were being hired to do the show specifically because they were LGBT. Um, but I'm always a okay, let's wait and see what happens kind of person. So, given how the show, um, if you watch the show and you understand the main idea behind the show, I can understand why I don't know, whoever the fuck did this show, Netflix, hired LGBT people to do it. Because the focus of the show has nothing to do with how a person looks or anything like that. The focus of the show in each episode is how the individual characters grow as people. Um, Now, again, this is a girls' show, so it's primarily girls that you see this kind of growth in. But that's okay because it's targeted for girls. And you want your target audience to relate to what the product that you're putting out. That's how it sells. Um, and the other thing too was complaints about how She-Ra looks. How She-Ra looks now compared to how she did in the '80s. So what I have on the screen here is this is how she looks now, and over here, this is '80s She-Ra. So one thing to consider is that the general attitude in the '80s was, yeah, everything's great. Let's all do coke and have sex. So a lot of things in the '80s were sexualized a lot, but you can see it. Look, you can see her cleavage. Um, and like she's wearing this. I could never like that red lipstick is just so fucking gaudy. I can never stand makeup on a woman. That's just my thing. But this is a character that is designed to be sexualized because that's how things were in the '80s. But now things are different. And now the focus of people is more of, well, what do you bring to the table as a person? So you get a show reimagined in this manner. And it worked very well. The writing's very good. The characters are complex. And even the villain characters, they grow in their own ways as well. But me personally, I like the look of the new She-Ra compared to the old one. One, because I can't fucking stand makeup at all. You know, I, but as far as I'm concerned, if you're wearing makeup, it's one because of one of two reasons. One is you got nothing to offer, and you can say whatever bad you want about me because of that, and I don't care because I'm an introvert and misanthrope and a snide asshole anyway, so I don't give a shit. And the other reason for makeup is you're looking for casual sex, which is like, okay, go have fun with your search for that. I'm not interested. So that's one thing I enjoyed seeing a difference of. The second thing is if you look at her physical build, her muscular build, this is more of what you would expect to see of someone who is a fighter, a warrior. This looks more like, you know, just some dainty girl that can't really do anything. And Shira is supposed to be a person of, who's really strong. I just can't imagine a person with such thin arms and legs having the strength that Shira does. Here, I can see it. I can believe it more. It seems more realistic to me. And the third thing is the armor, the functionality of the armor. Well, this, besides showing her cleavage, doesn't really offer a whole lot of protection. Where this is more akin to what you would see in actual body armor. While still giving her the ability to be maneuverable and agile and get around. This is light armor. So look, I mean, it becomes at that point a thing of preference because look, I know it's a cartoon. It could go either way. There are people that like cartoons and video games with sexualized characters wearing ridiculous armor that would never actually function in real life, and then there are people like me that like to see something more plausible. It's just a thing of preference. I mean, if you're a woman and you want to put on body armor, and well, you better be an A cup angel or be prepared to suffer the consequences of having your tits crushed against your chest. Because if you have molded armor with, for breasts or muscles or anything like that, well, then it creates weak points in the armor and it prevents it from deflecting attacks as well as it should. So, with all that, there is one thing I did want to draw attention to, and that is this character, Glimmer. So, as you can see, she's not the thin girl like, you know, everybody else tries to be and blah, blah, blah. So, the reason why I wanted to talk about Glimmer is because I've seen those girls that are like, okay, well, I'm not thin and pretty like every other girl, so I have to work harder to try and prove myself. Um, or they'll have the attitude of, well, I'm not thin and pretty. People aren't going to like me, so I'm just going to do whatever makes me feel all bubbly and good inside on me, anyways. So, with having a character like that, especially in as a main character, it becomes a very fine line to walk because you can view either of those um, perspectives as empowerment or in motivation, but the reason behind that is because they view themselves negatively. Which, again, it depends on how you want to view it. It could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. So the thing with Glimmer is that even though she does kind of act in a way that would be consistent with one of those two types of personalities, they managed to stay on the better side of the line with it, where her whole motivation of why she does things, and you can see it consistently, is because her attitude is, I have powers, I have the ability to make a change, I have the ability to make something better, so that's what I'm going to do. So overall, this show really is a positive show. It sends out positive messages, and even though it's for girls, I mean, I don't see why boys wouldn't be interested in watching it either. I mean, yeah, sure, you have like all the kind of like the girly stuff in it too, but there's some deep things that go on in the show. So that's my take on the new She-Ra. Um, if you like this video, I don't give a shit. If you want to see me do more stuff like this, well, you can wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up first, because this is not stuff I'm really interested in doing on the regular. So have fun.